Pisces ascendant, Pisces rising. This is your May, end of May, going into June video. We have a lot to talk about because we have this new moon on the 22nd of May, and we're going to touch in a little bit on that. We are also going to talk about the butt end of May, which has this planet Mercury leaving a sign and going into the next sign. Okay, so Mercury actually right now is in Gemini, right? When we get to the end of May, around the 28th, it then goes into Cancer energy. So I'm going to go into the definitions and the meanings and the explanations and the locations, right? How does this pertain to your life? How is your thinking going to change? How is your speaking going to change? How is your talking and communicating going to change? Because that's what Mercury represents. And so knowing what placement, what house that's in, tells you the area of your life it's in. Then we're going to be talking about what kind of situation and circumstances, what are we going to feel in the beginning of June. All right, June is the eclipse season grand opener. It is June 5th. And I'm going to dive deep with the degrees about all these things, because then there's another eclipse that happens at the couple weeks later in June. And then there's another eclipse just a couple weeks after that. So when I say eclipse season, it is just that, right? We're going to have back-to-back eclipses. I will be going in deep with the North Node, the South Node, all that good stuff. By the way, there's another video about that. I will attach it down below. It goes even further. It expands a little bit more. There's more knowledge pulled out of it. So take it and apply it to your life. And if at any time you're listening to these videos and you're not sure where these degrees are in your chart, or you don't even have a chart, comment your digits below and I will make sure to get that information to you. Don't know, comment below. Dive deep. Pisces, all astrology. So when we were in May, okay, we had that new moon occurrence, okay, and it was like at 2 degrees of Gemini and 2 degrees at Gemini with the sun and the moon. That's what the new moon is. So it's intention time. It's time to say, hey, what do I want going forward? But more importantly, what do I need going forward? Now, being in lockdowns, in pandemics, having all the losses all around us, and having this other stuff happening, right? The frequencies and the vibrations are extremely interesting when we're talking, you know, mid-May, because it's like May 15th, we had Mercury going out of bounds, all right? Understanding what Mercury is, it's thinking, it's my speaking, it's the way I communicate. Mercury rules Gemini. Where is your Gemini energy? Your Gemini energy is in your 4th house, typically. 4th house with Gemini there. Gemini, let's just focus on Gemini. Thinking, talking, relating, communicating, my immediate environment. If it's in your 4th house, your immediate environment definitely is within home. It's going to be with family members, but also within our home and family, it's our neighbors. You know, depending upon your age, it's like people who we would consider, yes, definitely siblings, but that 4th house placement keeps it really focused on individuals in your life who could simply be friends that feel like family. We all have those, right? Now, Gemini energy represents the internet. It's social media, it's news, it's communication, it's information. Mercury going out of bounds, anytime a planet goes out of bounds, it acts extreme. All right, it's almost as though it goes to this edge over here, and our reign on it, our control over it is less. Therefore, our thinking gets really just extreme. It gets really strong. It gets really intense. And so information comes in and it's like, okay, I need to share this. Or I can't believe someone said this. And then there's these reactions. It becomes very reactionary. It becomes, that's what this intense extreme energy is. And so we hear things, right? Or we're told things, or we're presented in different scenarios, and there's this reactionary stuff that happens. And Mars is part of this, okay? If you look at your Mars energy, Mars is in Pisces at this time. Mars, Pisces, around, let me see, 1-2 degrees when we're talking about the date of the 15th of May. Let me get this all going so that this sounds better. Mars squares Mercury and squares the Sun when we get to the 22nd of May, keeping in mind that you've got Mercury out of bounds. So what this means is you're going to have communication affecting the way we act, information affecting the way we act, and we're seeing it. We look and we're getting all these crazy news stories. Someone's told, hey, these are the rules. And instead of someone saying, hey, F you, they're taking action, right? This is Mars squaring Mercury. It gets stronger when we get to the weekend. When we get closer to like the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, you've got the Sun and Mars squaring each other. Now, remember, Mars is our body, it's physical, and in Piscean energy, it should be beautiful because it's not as assertive. It doesn't have the, it's like Mars in swampy water, so it moves slower, but it's affecting the way we think. It's affecting the way we would then act. Remember, everything we're going to do in the world, everything we go forward with begins with our thought. So we've got Mars, which is combative, and in Piscean energy, it's a bit fuzzy. It becomes, we've got those glasses, we can't see. The clouds of illusion and delusion come in so that when someone says something to you, your perception of what they're saying and how they're saying it, right? The delivery, because remember Mercury's got wings and delivers the knowledge, delivers the information, right? It's that whole don't kill the messenger thing, but instead that's exactly what we're seeing, right? We're seeing messengers, right? People saying, hey, but these are just the rules. And others saying, well, I'm not dealing with that. And this is my way of handling it. This is my reaction. Moon squaring Mars. This will be in the latter part of the day on the 22nd. This is when the moon and the planet Mars actually get to like 6 degrees each. Look where that is, right? For you, your Mercury, your 4th house energy, your Mars energy, you have Pisces, right? Because it's Mars in Pisces at 6 degrees. So this is your 1st house, which is myself, who I am, how I project myself into the world, which if you're a Pisces ascendant, you've got this very flexible, mutable, I like to go with the flow, very passive appearance, very, hey, we're all one, can't we just get along, right? Pisces, I've heard people say they can be the chameleon, like whatever environment they're in, they kind of just adapt. It can be a very spiritual sign, but it's also a water sign, so it's emotional. And that is what adds fuel to all of this, because it's Mars, which is our passions and our desires, in a water sign. So ultimately, the highest expression of this would be spiritual activity, right? Meditate, have a ceremony, do a ritual, take that desire, those assertions, and try to create a way to bring that stuff and take it higher, to how to elevate those frequencies in a way where it's best for all involved. And that is Piscean energy. It's, I'm going to make this sacrifice for the best for all involved. And when we have rules, right? Stay at home, shelter in place, wear a mask, whatever the rules are for wherever you're at in the world, it's, I'm making this small sacrifice for the group. And that is the high expression of Piscean energy. Now, when it squares the thinking, the Mercury stuff, right? The 4th house. So this might be, you might be having issues at home because it's myself and home. And if it's squaring up, it's like, okay, communication at home is kind of rough right now. So you want to be aware of that, because the good thing when you're aware and you have the dates and the degrees, you can literally plot it out and see when it's going to end. That is the beauty of astrology. Everything changes. Nothing sits there. Nothing is stagnant. It's a constant evolution. By the next day, by the 23rd, the moon will have moved, right? The moon goes to like 7, 8, 9, 10 degrees. And so the larger gap we have between the moon and Mars, the lesser the intensity, because then the square starts to ease. All right, and we call that an orb. All right. So if the moon's like at 8 degrees and if Mars is at 6 degrees, they're within a 2-degree orb is what we would call it. And after it gets past the 8-degree mark, it starts to lessen its effect. The compulsive, combative, I need to be doing something Mars energy will no longer inflict so much of its, we need to be combative and fight on the thinking. I think people underestimated. Honestly, I think I've heard a lot of people talking about what Mars and Pisces was going to mean. I think some folks underestimated because it was Pisces, and Pisces is really mutable, right? Likes to just be like, hey man, let's just hang out. Let's chill. I like to hear some music. Let's, movies, video. Like Piscean energy, it has this great ethereal quality, this 5D quality. It's like, I don't want to fight. It's non-confrontational. It would rather escape other than fight. It doesn't want to fight. It doesn't want a confrontation. It's really, I want to just have solitude. I'd rather go and be alone. Let me go, right? Jesus, let me go do Jesus. Let me go sit in the garden and sit with the one and just be there. But because it's Piscean and it's waters, and when you take waters, which are emotions, and then the moon sits in those emotions, it just added to it. It added to the out of bounds Mercury. So there's a lot of ingredients. When you start really diving into these things and dissecting them, you see, holy crap, out of bounds Mercury. Holy crap, that out of bounds Mercury squaring Mars. Holy crap, you've got the moon sitting there, right? Holy crap, you're going to have the sun sitting there. So it's all this major, intense overabundance of energy. We get to the closer part to the end of the month, and we have Mercury finally moving out, getting out of the Gemini energy and moving into Cancer. So if she moves into Cancer energy, this changes how you think, because this is Mercury. Now, Mercury is still out of bounds. Mercury stays out of bounds until the 11th of June. So till that time, you can likely expect to still hear shocking things, shocking information, deliveries of information. Maybe the information itself isn't shocking, but maybe the style in which you hear it, the way that it's, received, the way that you perceive it is like, whoa, really harsh, or the way that you are delivering information can be very harsh. That's typically unlikely of a Piscean because they usually are a little bit more flexible, a little bit less assertive and aggressive, but Mars is still in your sign and will be all for the entire month of June. Mars is in Pisces, okay? But when we talk about Mercury moving, it goes from your 4th house, which is family, all right, siblings especially, coworkers who may feel like siblings especially, because it's that Gemini energy in the 4th. But mom is a factor too in the 4th house. Females who have nurturing qualities in your life. But then it takes a transition, right, because it moves and it goes to Cancer energy. Well, what is that? Well, Cancer energy is more of the 4th house energy. It's all of a sudden, now we're really talking about mom. Now we're really focused on family. But this has a different spin on it because it's the 5th house. It becomes a little bit more fun. It becomes a little bit more communicative and how to be more quirky, how to be more even creative because it's the 5th house. And it's more about my ways and my abilities of expressing. That is 5th house energy. 5th house is my children too, right? So this is a big focus on children. My ability to be a mom. You've got Cancer in the 5th house, okay? My ability to look back on my life and understand how was my mom as a mom and how have I made myself like that person or not? Whatever you're thinking, because Mercury, along with it being out of bounds, so there's a lot of thinking, a lot of emphasis on thinking that kind of stuff, and family lineage and history, because the sign of Cancer is ruled by the moon, okay? When it's ruled by the moon is about our past heritage and lineage, and this will take you back to past life stuff, okay? Lives you've lived where you had connections with people who you are currently connected with now, but who you may be connected with in a different setup, right? You're connected as far as your soul's goal, but as personalities, it's like a new experience. It's, okay, in our last life, we might have been husband and wife, right? In our last life, I might have been your father. In our last life, you might have been the milkman. The roles change, basically, what we're saying. The personalities change, but the souls are the same. And so we have sometimes information that comes through and connections that are made. Now, this is a big deal because of the 2 eclipses, okay? For you, Pisces, we have the June eclipse, the first June eclipse on the 5th. Okay, and this is going to be at 15 degrees Sag. Now, find out where the 15 degrees Sag is in your chart. Typically, for Pisces ascendant, your Sagittarian energy is in your 10th house. All right, 10th house is my ambitions in the world. Not so much, a lot of folks call it the house of the career, and it can be the house of your career. And if you get to have your life like that, wonderful, because then it's a sweet setup for you. But not everybody gets that. It doesn't simply fall into place all the time like that. But it is a place where you express your best. It is a place where you came in with this innate knowledge, almost an authoritative way, where you just have this mastery, this expertise about this thing, because it's placed at your midheaven. And so when we talk about your 10th house, whatever sign is there, That's why I say to follow the degrees. See, do you have 15 degrees Sag anywhere near up there? Okay, see if you do. I'm going to attach the link below for the video I did for the June eclipse. I'm going to have another one for the next eclipse, and it's easier to talk about these things when you can dissect them separately. But understanding where 15 degrees Sag is will be the first step you need to take. Because at the opposite of all eclipses or all energies, right, if you've got 15 degrees Sag up here, opposite is 15 degrees Gemini energy. So you need to look and see that Gemini energy, you know, that's in your 4th house, likely. And that's home. That would mean changes at home. Eclipses bring change. They bring guaranteed change. Now, if you have matching degrees, you're going to know immediately. It is very strong when you have matching degrees. When you have a planet that may be like 3-4 degrees away, it won't be as strong. It won't be as intense. But if you don't know anything and you want clarity, just make sure you put a comment below, ask your question. I can look up your chart, put in your birth digits, and I can find out for you and help clarify all this. But understanding about changes and what the eclipse is going to mean, a quick definition of this is that when eclipses come, they are lined up to the nodal axis. Now, without going too in depth for you, it basically means, because it's going to be a south node eclipse, there's going to be a letting go and a releasing, okay? And understanding that the 15 degree mark is on the midheaven, right? And the opposing energy, the 15 degree down in your home, well, this has to do with your ambitions and your goals and the home, right? It's the reversal. 15 degrees Sag, your beliefs, goals tied to your beliefs. Home, emotional security is at the opposite end of it. So understanding that and then being able to strategically navigate and understand, okay, am I making changes? Is this where I need to stay flexible? Is this what I need to release? That's how you know what's happening. That's how you know this is the language of the universe. This is the universe's way of speaking to you. Heed all this information. The next eclipse is happening on June 21. Now, this is the one I was mentioning earlier about the Cancer energy. It happens at 0 degrees Cancer. This could be in your 4th house because it's at 0. All right. Now, this is a very rare eclipse. Not only is it 0 degrees, when we have an eclipse at 0, it is called a cardinal eclipse because it's 0. And 0 is the initiating, right? Well, isn't 0 the beginning, right? You have 0, then you go to 1, then 2. So 0 degrees Cancer, right? But not only is it at a cardinal degree, the sign that it's in is cardinal. So it's a cardinal eclipse. So this is a big deal. Now, Cancer energy is the moon, right? There should be support with this eclipse. There should be a big support in the releasing that we all need to do. And this is going to be globally. All of us, globally, everybody. But find out, do you have something near that mark? Okay, again, I'll have another video done. You go and you find out, you get that link, you watch it. It will go more in depth into that for you. There will be another eclipse. It's going to be July 4th. All right, and understanding that's going to be a whole different thing altogether. It is going to happen in Capricorn, and we have the final completion of the Cancer Capricorn eclipses. Now for Pisces, that Capricorn eclipse, your Capricorn energy is your 11th house. 11th house is how you operate in a group. This is friendship, this is internet, this is altruistic house. It's all about servicing humanity, okay? We will have another video, that's in July, and I will make sure I have a Pisces Ascendant sign talking about that for you specifically to dive deeper into that. So, Pisces Ascendant, I hope this has helped you. Hope it's put some light on your path. Stay sane, stay calm, and if you got any questions you don't know, make sure you just leave a comment for me below.